So it does seem like not too long ago, but it has been 8 years since I left my home in the hills. The home I refer to was, is my boarding school that has nurtured wonder for the past 130 years. I was just 12 when I left my home in Delhi to study in the hills, and my journey over there has taught me to appreciate the little things in life. Whether it was waking up to the sound of the chirping of the birds, or it was going to sleep in my bunk bed, which was overlooking the stars in the valley down below, school taught me to live in the moment, to cherish the little things. And whenever I'm stuck in life, I find myself in a situation where I need help. I look towards my memories of the hills and I find my help there.
So I started my journey from a public school, and I was an average student. I was scoring my 70 to 80%, getting through. But I was repeatedly told, don't go for all sciences, don't take all sciences and math, you don't have a good potential in it. Now that made me doubt myself, but I knew I loved these subjects. I knew I could do more with this. I was lucky and I got the opportunity to change my environment, and suddenly I was in an institution that focused on application. They gave me the keys to my science labs and said, go get your hands dirty, learn everything you can. So now my theories weren't in my books, they were around me, and I was hooked. I started doing much better, I got more engaged, and I took all sciences and math and graduated very happily. But did I follow a conventional path after that? Not really. Normative for a lot of Indians after this stream is go into engineering, go into medicine. I tried it for a week and I realized I love learning, but I don't like hyper specializations. I don't want to be the person doing one thing for the rest of my life. So I took my time and I found subjects like anthropology and policy, which were more holistic. They included different subject areas for me to explore and keep learning new things. And that's what I pursued. And we moved forward and we arrived in college.
So for me, my peers at school came from various different backgrounds. There were so many diverse perspectives, traditions, and all of these came together to create this melting pot of ideas, and I was always really fascinated by all my peers and the various stories that they brought from their homes. That taught me to respect perspective. I am humbled to say that when it comes to a lot of things, I'm a very aggressive person when it comes to putting my opinions out there inherently. But being in boarding school taught me that, there are a myriad of perspectives. And that brings me to curiosity and nurturing wonder, which just keeps going. It's something that I can go on and on about. Now, boarding school really had an impact on me as a person. There's this one line from a ceremony that was conducted at boarding school every year that has stuck with me throughout. It goes, when I was a child, I thought as a child. I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And I often sat in the very back row and wondered, why did people put away childish things? You see, children have a very unique perspective. They're very clear about what they want. They either want something or they don't want something. They're not holding on to underlying agendas, or they don't have anything that is untoward in their minds. For them, things are very clear. But often as adults, we tend to dismiss childish perspectives. I ask you, why?
So in our first year, we started discussing. We see the same problem, both of us, that we were lucky. We got good institutions who nurtured our curiosity, but sometimes mainstream education systems lack that boost or that ability to cater to individual needs. That led us to establishing our organization, which is a non-profit that works to bring the magic of science to kids, not for marks, not for theory, but to learn it as a social skill, to learn it as a temperament instead of a subject. And that is something that is intrinsically built in India, because the best example of STEM that we now give to every global forum is jugad. Now this is a mentality that has recently gained a lot of global traction as frugal innovation or as India's jugad mentality, but it's the best example of STEM. So consider the example of Muhammad Saidullah. He's a honey salesman from a village in Bihar. He came up with an invention which is an amphibious bicycle. This invention was just a regular bike with retractable floats attached to every wheel. He used this to cross swollen riverbeds whenever his village was flooding and continue his business. Now, what was his background? He had just reached grade 10. He didn't even graduate 10th standard. What were the resources he used? A regular bike and a float. What was the finance he had for that? In 2005, which was when he invented this, his reported income was 1,300 rupees. And the cost of that invention is approximately 3,000. So without having the foundational support of advanced education or even financial ability, he created something. He may not understand buoyancy, he may not understand gear mechanics the same way as someone who studied it would do, but he observed them and he created something. This ability that we have of observing and creating is something that STEM is all about, and that is what we wanted to bring to every child.
When I was 12, I came across this group of students that were working on things like finding a diagnosis for cancer or finding sustainable alternatives to the use of plastic, or even simple things like increasing the yield of an apple orchard by just observing pollination patterns. Now, let me come clean to you. I am not really a science geek. But what I understand is perspective. I could never really understand theories. I was completely clueless when it came to theories in the classroom. But what I saw outside the classroom was perspectives being put into application. And that's something that always stayed in the back of my mind. When I was 6, now this is an interesting one. When I was 6, I was traveling by train during my summer holidays to my grandmother's hometown. And just about that time, there was this rumor that kurkure had plastic in it. I don't know how many of you have heard that, but there was this rumor about a decade ago. I feel old now. But there was this rumor about a decade ago that there was plastic in kurkure. I happened to share the train coach with someone who was a manager at a kurkure factory. Now, I was adamant that kurkure had plastic in it. The journey went on, and I think about an hour or two in, the man took a break and he came back and he put a lighter on the table. And I was curious. I was curious to the limits that I asked him. I was like, okay, sir, the thing is that I have a kurkure packet. I've been told that this has plastic in it. Could you please demonstrate to me that there is no plastic in this? So he took his lighter and he burnt the kurkure. And of course, I figured out that it was soya. I was told so. And turns out it is soya in kurkure and it's completely all right to eat it. But I mean, that day, my curiosity was kindled to the extent that Ishita and I founded a company that would nurture curiosity and promote diverse perspectives for all children, because we decided that never would we let another child be told not to be curious. I am grateful for my foundation years where curiosity was nurtured. And by nurturing that curiosity, wonder was nurtured within me. Nurturing wonder is a gift that keeps giving, and it cannot be nurtured any more than the infinite. So that's.
So we think there are two paths that everyone can take to nurture wonder. The first is on your own. It starts with you. You have to push yourself to explore new things, to try new things. You have the endless opportunities that no generation before had. So it's the right time for you to explore your options and not give in to what you're hearing or what you're seeing. Go and explore for yourself what you want to do. Because if you do not work on self-development, there's very little you can give to your goals. The second part of this is extending yourself. This is something you heard from experts before us as well, and I think you'll keep on hearing now, because this is the need of the hour. This is a role that right now your parents or your facilitators play for you, but this is what you have to work towards, your role in the grander scheme of things. Take the technological revolution of the hour, artificial intelligence. If AI has been made possible, it's because we have technicians, we have social scientists, and we have people who are creative enough to bring that vision to life. Would we be able to do the same if, let's say, we had the ability to build a machine that moves, but no one who could code it? If we didn't have social scientists who were working so strongly for AI ethics and trying to bring in social and human values to the machines we were building? Would we have been able to do this if we could code, if we had the scientists to talk about the human perspective, but nobody to make the machines or to bring them to life? It's the combined effort of different fields that comes out and builds fruitful things for our society and takes us to the next level of our lives. And this is why we advocate for STEM, because it is more than just a subject. It is something that develops a temperament in every individual to approach things in a much more holistic way than you would have. And that is why we continue to work for this, and we hope that everyone pushes themselves and finds new things to explore. So we'll end by pointing out the 3 P's that we think nurture wonder brilliantly. The first is passion. Find something that interests you and truly interests you, because you will need it to keep going. The second is plan. The best paradox of our time is we have so many opportunities that we probably don't even have enough time to explore all of them. So go for it. Keep trying new things. I took my time. I tried science. I tried math. I tried anthropology. I tried policy. And now I'm at a stage where I can say, okay, what I do has an impact on others in my country and at a global level. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't explore my options. And the final one is persistence. You're at a stage where you can tell people how you want to be supported, what path you want to take. There are ways that people can help you achieve that. There are ways that you can work to achieve that. So keep going and keep pushing yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.